Welcome to the Vertical MRO Podcast, where we dive into the world of helicopter maintenance, repair, and overhaul. In each episode, we talk with the technicians, engineers, and experts who keep helicopters flying. Because at the end of the day, no maintenance, no mission.
This conversation was recorded live at the Irving MRO Conference, where we spent time connecting with maintainers, students, operators, and leaders from across the helicopter industry. You're about to hear one of those conversations, a chance to highlight the people and companies driving rotorcraft maintenance forward, sharing their challenges, insights, and passion for the work. We're excited to share it with you, and we hope you'll pass it along to anyone who'd enjoy being a part of the growing helicopter MRO community. Let's jump into the interview.
Welcome to the Vertical MRO Podcast. We're here day 3 in Irving at the conference, and I'm just blown away by the number of people and the range of people that we're getting able to talk to here, John. John, you've been on the panels as well here. How have those been going?
Amazing. You know, anytime we can get folks with 100 years of combined experience together on a stage to talk about something that is a challenge for the community, I think is really cool. And I think the idea that we come under this roof collectively as a helicopter community to solve some of those problems is what I'm really excited about. The panels is one part of that, but the conversations that I've been hearing throughout the conference, you know, whether you're at a high top table there or at a bar across the street, those conversations I think are so valuable. So I love that about the conference, and these are the conversations that will last beyond this particular conference. So
and the connections.
Yes, 100%.
And the connections.
There's so much value.
The helicopter industry is really kind of 2 handshakes from anybody, and that's what I've learned.
That's a great way of putting it, Brad. Brad Albright, by the way, joining us from Leonardo. Thank you so much
for having me.
Yeah, being a part of the conference, being a part of the training that's going on here. Leonardo has been very intentional, very thoughtful with the training that you guys are bringing as a part of the conference, and just we're chatting a little bit off camera about some of that. But how did you find your way here to the conference? What was the attraction for Leonardo or for yourself here for the MRO?
Well, it started as Leslie contacted my boss, Jeff Morales. He's the ground chief instructor. He does all the ground for the pilot and maintenance side. And he wanted to know if I would do a presentation, because I've created presentations before for customer request presentations. So he's like, "Do you want to use one of your presentations and go there?" And I'm like, Yeah, I'd love to.
That's cool.
I love talking to people about aviation.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone's passionate about it. Everyone's happy to be here.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's why I got into training. You know, I've been working on helicopters since 1983.
Okay. Wow.
So, and it's getting a little more difficult to get up and down on helicopters. So it's like, you know, let's go into training. I can still talk. I can still do what I want to do. I can share my knowledge. I can share my experience. To me, that's keeping me going. That's keeping me alive. I love it.
Amazing. Yeah, and that training that you brought when you were talking about just that opportunity. There's so much that is dictated or directed by the way that Leonardo has to provide training when you show up. Okay, I need to get 139 familiarization, get that training done. But there's still other opportunities, and there's also specific needs from those operators or experience or maintainers. You know, there's so many other maintainers that are finding themselves with a new platform, but now they need to translate that over and better understand how to look after the new Leonardo aircraft that they find on their ramp that day.
So you're leading me into my maintenance managers.
I am
Good
for
lead.
sure.
I'm going to take that on out of the park.
Do it.
All right.
Yeah. Talk to us about it.
Okay, so I have a maintenance managers course. This is for the 139. We're seeing a lot of corporate people, 76 operators are now starting to pick up the 139. These are seasoned mechanics. The guys know stuff. They know their mechanics. But they don't know our manuals. They don't know our inspections. They don't know understand the notes in our inspections, because our girl was, you know, knees and elbows, and now she's grown up quite a bit, and she doesn't quite look the same. So, but our manual still captures in the inspections those, what's the word? Caveats. Caveats. Yeah, there we go. So they capture those, but I explain those because they're. Unless you know the story of how she grew up, how she got that scar, you don't understand it. So that's what I go through and explain. And then you're now dealing with our customer portal and how it changes. How do you order parts? How do you find the bulletins? You know, how do you take care of this aircraft? You know, how do you put what they call a technical core, a TQ in? Let me get engineering support. How do I do that?
Right. Yeah, giving them some even beyond the physical tools, understanding the digital tools that are available, understanding why those tools or those procedures or those inspections were created in that way. And that to me it's that opportunity in a setting like this in the presentations where you can have that conversation beyond this is the bulleted item. You're saying there's a story behind why that change happened or that growth or development within the 139 program. If there was one that just sort of stood out to you as the core piece that you feel would be missing when that initial training happens, and it's like, I wish I could give them that piece of context, what would be something that you would want people to know about the 139 in that way from a maintainer's perspective?
Like I said, our theory course teaches the theory of the aircraft, how the hydraulic systems, how electrical systems and all that work. We don't go into how do you find that information in the manuals? How do you get it extracted out of the manuals? How can I find alternate ways of complying with something? You know, we have standard practices and we have actual structural repairs. How can I deal with this? How can I change things? I need a different rivet. Where do I find that? We have a lot of information in there, but you got to know where it's at. And the IETP is several publications. So you got to, how do I find this? Where do I go to get my information? And this course, the maintenance manager's course, is to help people manage their aircraft, not just know it and maintain it, but how to manage it, how to keep it going, how to keep it up.
Yeah, there's a difference. There's a distinct difference, and the skill set that can be brought or developed or fostered by coming along a manager role of maintaining and supporting that aircraft.
Yeah. What parts do I need to order for an inspection?
Yeah.
You know, things like that.
How do I quantify those? How do I filter those through? If they have 20 years experience on a 76, they have an idea of this. I need to be jumping through these hoops. I need to understand these elements, but I don't have the context of knowing what is going to be that consumable that I need.
What are my wear points?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you go order those tail rotor scissors. Well, we changed them. Well, you order them anyway. There's a good chance they're going to be worn. You might find something. Don't wait on it. All right, I didn't need them. Okay, you can return them or keep them on the shelf. You're going to need them someday.
Right, exactly. And it sort of strikes me as that approach of being prepared so that the aircraft, the uptime is maintained, and you're ultimately performing and that role as the maintainer to keep that mission able to be completed. And there's a lot of important missions that the Leonardo aircraft across North America and worldwide are doing, and these maintainers are integral to that.
Yes.
So.
Yep.
So is there anything that's stood out for you as while being in the presentations or the conversations or the questions that are coming back from people or just the conference as a whole so far?
Oh, the passion for aviation. There's a lot of passion here. People here want to be here. This is not a job. I didn't get out of the service and I took a job managing Taco Bell or something like that because I had leadership experience. Dude, you were in aviation. You loved it. Stick with it. Figure it out. Drive on. That's that passion that's here. That's the way it was with me. I was in the military, got out of the military. I loved it. I went to A&P school. Back at that time, it was 2 years. So I went to the 2-year school, did all that, but I learned things in the school too, and help. I never knew sheet metal because I didn't do sheet metal in the Army. But that's the type of thing. But it still expanded my vision, my role, and helped me out. And now I learn more. I'm in the training department now, and I'm still learning. I'll go sit in pilot classes and listen to how the pilots are looking at stuff. Because pilots look at things different than the mechanics. But there's a lot of passion here about this aviation.
Yeah, I love that you bring that up because as you're talking through your career and then highlighting how I'm not as capable of climbing up and down the helicopters as I used to be, but you still want to be involved. I can hear your passion as you talk through that. And you're right, this community is full of that. We demand excellence in this industry, and you see that that happens because people love it, right? They're passionate about what they do, and they rise to the occasion day in and day out. Just so cool. So thank you for your passion and for your fire for the industry. Like I said, it's so evident in your words, in your demeanor, in your desire to be here. I think it's really cool.
Oh yeah, this is the first time I was ever here at this conference.
Yes.
And I love it. I like how it's tailored towards maintenance, and like what a lot of people are saying, we need to drive that information back up that maintenance is not that necessary evil, and training is an integral part of all that. Learning things here, giving that knowledge, keeping that technician growing, because a trained technician who's knowledgeable will keep your service time down, or service time up, keep your maintenance time down, keep your service time up, and he'll troubleshoot faster, he'll order parts correctly, we'll be throwing parts at something. Knowledge is a lot, there's a lot to having a good trained technician.
It's painting a very clear picture of the investment within the maintenance community that's sending someone to a conference like this is,
yes.
right? To get that opportunity for the type of training that you're offering and the team at Leonardo is offering, as well as all the other number of sessions. You're just talking about the reframing of maintenance as a cost point versus an enabler, and we just had Beth Cristianos doing a presentation on
I said in that one, she was very good.
Amazing. Yeah, it's just and it's so important to be able to then take back that framing and that knowledge and that context and help, right? Because it is sometimes, we've had conversations with other team members within the maintenances departments or the flight departments that are trying to be that advocate for the work that is being done in maintenance. And so the more that we can send maintainers or the support teams around maintenance to an event like this to prepare them to go back and be that much of a better advocate.
Yeah, because a lot of these are actually targeting more towards manufacturing, sale, and pilots.
Sure.
And maintenance is that second thought.
And there's been a need here for the maintenance side, but there hasn't been that same opportunity provided. And through the support of Leonardo being a core partner in this, so thank you to you and your team as a whole for seeing the vision and coming alongside this maintenance community who has needed this space, bringing the value of the presentations, sending the team here. Thank you for being a part of it, Brad, because we can't do it without the support of a community rallying around and seeing the value of investing in the people that are maintaining and keeping that mission possible.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, I interrupted you earlier.
No, this is for you. Your insights are way more important than mine, so it's all good. But to go back on what you're talking about, the return on investment's huge to send somebody here. In my opinion, we're asking a lot of our folks, do more with less. Less personnel. So if that's the case, send them here, get some education, make that person a better employee, allow them to enrich their professional life in a way that benefits not only them but the operation, the shop that they're working with. So love that you guys brought that up.
Yeah, expand that network.
My
gosh,
and
the
how
amount of networking that's happening here. And yes, technology.
Technology is changing so fast. Matter of fact, the 139 has now been flown fully autonomously.
I was chatting with one of your other Leonardo team members here. I think it was Anthony. That he
Yes.
came over, and he was talking about and we were chatting about it as well earlier too, just about that what that future looks like for Leonardo, and the fact that the maintainer is still the common denominator, even if the thing's being flown autonomously, right?
Autonomously.
Yeah, and that was sort of not. It was eye-opening in that sense, because you're seeing what's coming up from Sikorsky and Leonardo and all the autonomous and the air mobility as well too, with the eVTOL side of things, but the thing still needs to be maintained. It still needs to be able to fly, and so the demand for the maintainers is still going to be there. And so we talk about the challenges that are facing this industry, and would you resonate with how we continue to attract that next generation and how we continue to invest in this maintenance community to grow it as the primary challenge?
Oh, yes. Yeah, and it's getting people aware of it. Matter of fact, little kind of off-topic type thing, but my furnace went out. So my furnace went out, so I troubleshot. Okay, it's either the valve's not open or the computer's not working. I don't know the wiring, so bring my HVAC guy in. Well, he came out and he's working with it, and he's like, hey, you troubleshot this pretty well. And I'm like, well, I got a couple of years experience. Yeah. But he figured it out, and then I was talking to him later, and I was like, you ever thought about, I could tell this guy's got a troubleshooting mind to it. And I was like, you ever thought about aviation? And he was like, no. And I said, 2 years, a year and a half, get some training, get your certification. I can see you got that mentality, that troubleshooting click. You're just not part changing. And I was like, and he's like, I'll have to think about that.
That's cool.
And I'm like, because I said, I know how HVAC is. It's a little bit of it's a rough job.
It can be.
It can
definitely. Yeah, I have a brother-in-law that's doing that work, and but I see him step up. I had the problem at my place, and as much as I'm getting my hands dirty with some of the renovation work, I reach my limit. Same as yourself, and call him in, and I see him sitting there doing the troubleshoot, and I'm like, yeah, that skill set, that mindset and approach, and fostering that and growing it, and exposing people, the next generation of kids to it. Tearing apart something to understand how it works isn't the most scary thing in the world, right? Yeah.
Had those before. Taking apart a VCR. It doesn't work. My wife's like, do you know what you're doing? I'm like, nope, but it's already broke.
I can't do any more damage.
I can't do any more damage.
That's funny.
So, yeah, and I think we sort of touched on the idea of what makes this community special when you were saying about the passion element.
Oh, yes.
What's special about seeing the community gathered here at a conference like this?
Pretty much the networking, the getting to know people. Hey, I just got done talking to, I can't remember his name, from Concord. He thanked me for being, last year I did the IA renewal for Concord. I did a class for them. So he was asking if I was doing it again. I don't have time. I'm doing this one here this year. And I've been doing a lot of training because they're really stepping up on the Gray Wolf program.
Okay.
So we're getting a lot of Air Force and people in there, that contract's getting really built up. So that's been keeping me really busy. But knowing him again, seeing him again, I was like, God, I wish I could remember his name. But anyway,
he'll come to you as soon as we turn off the button.
Yeah, I was turning off the mics because he's talking about doing it again next year. And I was like, yeah. I like going out and sharing, giving that information.
Yep. Yeah, the networking piece of this is huge. Talked about earlier how we have these headwinds that we're facing as a community. It's hard to come together outside of a space like this to come up with those solutions collectively to deal with that, right? Mm-hmm. But you see you guys in Airbus standing shoulder to shoulder here at this conference talking about those things. Like, how do we work together to solve this? I love seeing that. It's huge.
Yeah, and seeing people I haven't seen in years, sometimes too. It's like, dude, how you been? I'm doing great, still doing this. All right.
Yep.
Hey, ran into this. Have you seen this problem?
Mm-hmm. And that's the other part, right? You build that network, you walk back home, that network is still there, and it's that much easier this time to pick up the phone, to ask that question, see about that part availability or how someone else is problem solving.
Yeah. Who'd you have repairing this part?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
How did it go? What was your experience like?
Exactly.
And then that's the benefit long term for the operator, right?
Yep.
That
giving them options.
Exactly. I was going to ask about with the presentations and building this maintenance manager course, and how it's a two-parter. There's lots to cover. What's been the dynamic back and forth like during the presentations? Is there anything that you're taking home or that you're seeing resonate, or the questions that are coming from those that are attending the class?
There are some 139 operators. I'm getting people who are actually not even technicians. I've noticed that this time. I had the lady that was in there from Victoria Helicopters. Mm-hmm. It's a series, something like that. I'm sorry. Cynthia
from Victoria.
Yeah. She is just records keeping. So I'm talking about Chapter 4, Chapter 5, and historical records and things like that. And she's like, yes, that's what I need to know. Because and I've had that in my maintenance manager's course. I've had parts people coming in so they can just learn about the portal and ordering things and managing things like that.
Because managing that maintenance isn't always a single person managing
not an
all
A&P,
those pieces, right?
or an AE, an engineer or an A&P. It's different. There's a whole community really sometimes involved, and some of them aren't even technically aviation people, but they are now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are now. They're a part of that maintaining mission, and they're getting that chance to be a part of something larger, and that's what I love about rotorcraft, helicopter, and the mission, and the many missions, and the many ways that it touches everybody's life that so many people don't even know, right? There's the high visibility of life-saving flights, and there's so much the work that Leonardo is doing there and the operators are doing in that capacity that is just so cool to see. But they're touching so many other parts of our lives every day.
Yep.
Yeah. That 2 handshakes.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Back to that 2 handshakes.
Yeah. Is there anything else on sort of your radar for the conversation, John?
No, I just, again, love your passion for the industry. Love that you're excited to be here to impart your tribal knowledge on the next generation.
Oh, yes.
I think as an industry, that's something we need to do better, right, is capture that generational knowledge, that tribal knowledge, inspire the next generation. So you're doing all those things. So thank you for being here. Thank you for doing that as you navigate your career. It's cool.
Well, that's kind of fall back. It's like our technology has grown so much that people like on track and balance. Mm-hmm. Why did you do that? Well, the computer told me to do it. Mm-hmm. Do you understand why it's telling you to do that? Now we got to go back to the days of the Chadwick, turning my dial, zooming, it's like, what's it actually doing? And if something's wrong, that they don't understand. The computer's trying to do what it can, but if something's not right, they don't know.
Yeah. You need to understand that theory. It makes me think of like Mike and the photography and everything that's captured there. It's a difference of being experienced in a dark room, right? And that process versus the digital reality that's so much of what is being captured. It's that same piece. You need to have that complete understanding to truly help yourself do that troubleshooting at sound.
Beth was talking about that in her class too. She says, sometimes go back. Is the switch on? It's something basic in this troubleshooting.
Does not work in the OFF position.
That's the one.
That, or what was the last thing that you touched? That's the Mike Broderick truants that I remember, where it's just, what was the last thing you touched? To be human and humble enough to realize that I'm an element of what is going on with this aircraft. So what did I touch last? And whether the switch is in the off position or something just was missed or not finished exactly the right way. So yeah, very cool. Well, thank you for being here at the conference, Brad.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this. I'm glad to see this.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so cool to have this space to see how well attended the presentations are. So thank you for being a part of making that possible through the presentations, being here on the show floor, and being with us.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Loved it.
All right. We'll see you guys soon again for yet another recording here at the Vertical MRO Conference. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to this conversation from the Vertical MRO Conference. If you enjoyed it, feel free to share it with someone in your network who cares about helicopter maintenance and the people who make it happen. To hear more conversations like this, you can find the Vertical MRO podcast on all major platforms. Thanks again for being a part of this growing MRO community, and we'll see you in the next episode.